Narrator. Some stories aren't just stories. They're whispers from forgotten places, waiting to be heard. And when someone dares to listen, they don't return the same. Narrator. This is the tale of a village called Piranwala, a place where time had stopped, and even the winds whispered secrets. Right at the heart of the village stood an old structure, the Bloody Well. Narrator. They say, on certain nights, a woman's cry echoes from the well, and anyone who follows it is never seen again. No one dares speak its name aloud. Narrator. And now, returning to this haunted place, was Sajid. 15 years ago, he had left for the city, never to look back. But the death of his father and an inherited crumbling Haveli had drawn him back. Sajid. So, this is Piranwala now. It's so dead. Even the trees leaned, like they were mourning something. The air felt thick, heavy, unnatural. Narrator. The villagers recognized him, but looked away. Their eyes spoke of fear, deep and ancient. No one said much. No one dared. Narrator. At the village square, an old man sat smoking a hookah. His face bore the fatigue of generations. Sajid approached him quietly. Salam, Babaji. Old man, low voice. You had to return. Blood always brings you back. Sajid blinked. What did you say? The old man just smiled and lowered his eyes. Narrator. Sajid drove ahead. His destination? His grandfather's abandoned Haveli, at the village's edge. No one lived there. No one dared go near. Sajid. This place feels like time itself died here. As he stepped inside, a sudden coldness wrapped around him, a presence that felt aware of him. Narrator. On the wall, an ancient clock still ticked, though clearly broken. Sajid sat down, but something caught his eye. A narrow path behind the Haveli, barely visible. Narrator. That path led to the well, the same well his grandfather had forbidden him from going near as a child. Never go there, Sajid. Only death lives there, his grandfather once warned. Sajid, I need to know, what's so cursed about that well? He waited till nightfall. By morning, he was ready. Sajid woke early, the sky still gray with fog. He grabbed his lantern, a rope, and an old iron key. The air was heavy, too heavy for morning. It felt like the village itself was holding its breath. He moved quietly through the overgrown path behind the Haveli. Branches clawed at his shirt like bony fingers. And then, there it was, the Bloody Well. Old, cracked, and breathing mist like a living thing. Sajid's steps slowed as he neared it. Its stones were damp and red, as if bleeding. The wind fell silent. Sajid, softly. This is just a well, just stone and water. But even as he said it, he knew he was wrong. He leaned forward to peer inside. It was pitch black, so deep it seemed bottomless. Then he heard it, a woman crying. The sound rose slowly, like it was coming from beneath the earth. And then the crying turned into wailing. A scream, high-pitched and desperate. Sajid stumbled back, heart pounding. But as he turned, his foot caught on a root. He fell hard onto the ground. His head hit a rock. Blood trickled down his temple. And then, silence again. No scream, no wind, just quiet. Sajid looked up and froze. On the side of the well, written in red, a single sentence was scrawled into the stone. No way back. The writing was fresh, the blood still wet. Sajid whispering, "Who did this?" His voice trembled. Then he felt it, a chill crawling up his spine, as if something was behind him, watching. He turned quickly, but no one was there. Just trees, just mist. But the crying began again, softer now, like it was closer, like it was inside his mind. Sajid picked up his lantern and ran, but the path was gone. The way he had come, now blocked by dense trees. Trees that hadn't been there minutes ago. It was as if the forest had rearranged itself, as if it wanted him to stay. Then he heard laughter, a child's giggle, then a woman's sob, then a man's scream, all blending into each other, rising in volume. Sajid spun around, searching, panting, and then, from the mist, emerged a figure. She floated, inches above the ground, her hair long, black, and moving like it was underwater. Her face, blank. But when she spoke, the sound echoed through Sajid's bones. "You opened the path. Now you must see the truth." And then, darkness. Narrator. Sajid opened his eyes. But something was different. He was still near the well, but the world around him had changed. The trees now looked older, gnarled, like centuries had passed. The mist was thicker, heavier, pulsing with some kind of presence. He felt pressure in the air, like a storm waiting to strike. And then, the woman in white stood before him again. Only this time, she wasn't crying. She was staring at him with cold, hollow eyes. Her lips didn't move, but her voice echoed. "You are his blood. And now, you must witness his sins." Narrator. Sajid staggered back as his surroundings began to blur. His body remained in the forest, but his mind was pulled elsewhere. Suddenly, he stood in a memory, but it wasn't his. It was the village, decades ago. He saw villagers dragging a girl to the well. She screamed, kicked, pleaded, but they called her a witch. "She cursed my crops," one shouted. "She bewitched my son," another yelled. At the front of the mob stood a man, Sajid's grandfather. Narrator. He ordered the girl to be thrown into the well, alive. Her screams echoed into the darkness. The villagers cheered, the air filled with fear, and something else, guilt. Sajid watched, frozen in horror. His chest ached. The woman's voice returned. She wasn't a witch. She was different, gifted, and he feared what he couldn't control. Sajid whispered, "He lied. My grandfather lied." Narrator. The vision shattered like glass. Sajid gasped, falling to his knees in the forest. He looked up, and now dozens of spirits stood around him. Men, women, children, all victims of the well. One by one they stepped forward, revealing their stories, accused falsely, cursed, abandoned, forgotten, all buried in darkness, chained by fear, all murdered to silence the truth. The woman in white stepped closer. You opened the seals, Sajid. Now you must finish what was started. Narrator. He stood, shaking, tears streaming down his face. What do I do? He asked. The woman's voice whispered in the wind. Free us. Burn the rope. End the curse. Sajid looked at the well. Thick old chains still covered the top. A single red rope tied around the pulley, stained by time. He moved toward it, his hands trembling. His lantern flickered, casting long shadows. He lifted it, placing the flame under the rope. Narrator. The rope hissed as it burned. A sudden gust of wind howled through the trees. The well began to shake, like something deep inside was awakening. Screams erupted from within, not of pain, but of release. Spirits floated upward, spinning through the mist. One by one, they faded into light. Their chains evaporated into sparks. The forest grew quiet again. The air grew lighter, and Sajid collapsed to the ground. Narrator. When he opened his eyes again, it was morning. Sunlight pierced the trees for the first time in years. The air smelled fresh, like new beginnings. The well stood quiet. No more chains, no more voices. The woman in white was gone. All was still. But deep inside Sajid, something had changed. Something ancient now stirred within him. A connection. A responsibility. Sajid stayed in the forest a little longer, watching the well in silence. No more voices, no more crying. The spirits were free. The curse had lifted. But something still felt unfinished. He gathered his belongings and walked slowly back to the village. As he passed the fields, villagers peeked from their windows. They didn't look afraid anymore. They looked relieved. The old man, the one with the hookah, was waiting near the square. This time, he smiled at Sajid and nodded. You've done something no one else had the courage to do, he said. Sajid asked, Did my grandfather know what he was doing? The old man took a deep breath. Yes, and so do you now. What do you mean? But the old man just looked at the sky and said, Sometimes blood must pay for blood. Sajid didn't press further. He packed his bags and locked the Haveli. He didn't look back. He drove out of Piranwala before sunset. As he crossed the village boundary, a strange peace settled over him. He felt lighter. But as he glanced in the rearview mirror, he saw something that turned his blood cold. In the back seat sat the woman in white, her face emotionless, Sajid whispering, No, no, you were freed. Why are you here? She didn't speak. Her presence was cold, ancient. Suddenly, the road twisted, but Sajid kept driving, as if something else was guiding the wheel. He passed through a forest that wasn't on the map. Trees grew darker, taller, suffocating the sky. Fog rolled in again, swallowing the sunlight. He tried to stop the car, but the brakes didn't work. The woman leaned forward and whispered, You broke the curse, but not the bloodline. Sajid felt his chest tighten. He slammed the door open, jumped out of the moving car, and rolled into the dark woods, His body hurt, but his mind screamed louder. When he stood up, he wasn't near any road. He was back at the bloody well.
I did what you asked.
But the voices returned, layered, hollow, whispering in unison. And now you take his place. Chains slithered out from the earth like snakes. They wrapped around Sajid's feet. He fought them, cried, begged. But the earth didn't listen. The well had chosen its new guardian. He was dragged toward the mouth of the well. The spirits appeared, but they didn't look angry now. They looked at peace. One by one they vanished into the trees. The woman in white came last. She placed her hand gently on Sajid's chest. A glow passed from her to him. "The curse is gone," she whispered, "but the keeper must remain." And then she was gone. The forest grew quiet again. The well sealed itself, not with bricks, but with roots and vines. Sajid's voice was never heard again. But the village knew. They knew the well had changed. It no longer cried at night. It no longer bled. But no one dared go near. Because now it watched. Narrator: some wells take lives, some give truth, but some trade souls. If you ever hear a whisper in the fog, a cry from beneath the ground, don't follow it, because you may not be the one who comes back. Sajid didn't.